Today we are looking at the topic, I'm calling this the power of training. The power of training. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 37. The power of training. I'll read only a segment of this. Moreover, David said, "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." Moreover, David said, "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." The devotion. Training is not usually pleasant, but it has great value. Although it may not seem useful immediately, it equips you for something bigger in the future. Don't despise the days of training. Training develops inner capacity. It helps you grow attitudes that are needed to handle certain situations and circumstances. By training, a mindset is formed and a man's perspective is shaped. Training also develops outer capacity. It helps build physical skills that can be deployed to resolve specific situations. Because of training, a man has solutions to specific problems whenever they arise. Training creates a world of testimonies. When you have done something successfully a number of times, you have history on your side and are bold to try new things. Training boosts confidence. David went through years of training, although he had no idea that God was training him. He was being nurtured as a shepherd and as a warrior. Every bear and lion that attacked his flock was a test case. Because he had seen God at work, even in the most incredible situations, David had grown great confidence. He was confident that his God could do the impossible, and he had seen it happen many times over. You may not know when you are undergoing training. You may think that you've been forgotten, sidelined, or maligned. But all these are part of training. Training may not be pleasant, but it is profitable. Escaping from your training program is to spite yourself. Those who do this never end up growing in capacity in life. They become stunted and unable to go beyond a limited scope. They shortchange themselves. Go through the training program designed for you. No two programs are the same. Everyone is uniquely prepared to equip you for certain situations ahead. Don't compare yours with someone else's program. In hindsight, you will see the connection. You will understand why God put you through the things you went through. In fact, you will thank Him for the lions and the bears that attacked you and your beloved. God is taking you somewhere, but He must train you. And training never ends. So long as God has a greater task ahead for you, training must continue. So, embrace today's tough times and see them as equipping for tomorrow. Praise the name of the Lord. Now, even though we are focusing on verse 37, I want you to know that there was a context to this, because the context is David going everywhere and he's boasting, and he's saying, verse 36, he says, your servant has killed both lion and bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living God. Now that's the context. The context is that David looked into his life, looked into his past. He looked at the experiences he has been through with the Lord. He saw the way the Lord had dealt with him in the past. And based on the experiences he had had in the past, he had great confidence to confront Goliath. Let me go back to verse 34. In verse 34 and 35, it reads, but David said to Saul, your servant used to keep his father's sheep, and when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went out after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth. And when it arose against me, I caught it by the beard and struck and killed it. Do you see the history David had developed over time? You see, David had developed both what I'm calling inner capacity and outer capacity. Inner capacity is a mindset. It's a mindset. David had developed a mindset, and that mindset said, I am able to smite whatever comes against me and my loved ones because the Lord is with me. You see, that was a mindset he had developed. That's why he was able to look at the Philistine giant, and the mindset did not look at the size of the giant, because he had a mindset that said, no matter how huge you look, no matter how strong you look, no matter how mighty you seem to look, I have God on my side. That's an inner mindset. Verse 37 says, moreover, David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of the Philistine. You see, the inner mindset is actually stronger than the outer mindset. The inner mindset is what tells you that you will come through this situation not based on your capacity, but based on the person who is with you. That's the inner mindset. Something about your attitude to life, something about your perspective to problems, your paradigm, something that is within you that says, the Lord who has been with me and who has delivered me in the past is the same Lord who will come through for me even in this situation. It's an inner mindset. For those of you who joined us just after we started, We said the topic for today is the power of training. And in the devotion, we read how training is not usually pleasant, but it is equipping you, it is building you, it is preparing you. And we said the first thing is an inner capacity, an inner mindset. Training is taking you through experience after experience after experience, and you may not even realize you are going through God's training program, but it is shaping you, and you may not even know you are being shaped. I don't think David knew he was being shaped, but his mindset was changing. His understanding was changing. Maybe the first time he had to confront a lion, he must have been terrified. But the Lord nudged him to go and fight the lion and remove the sheep from the hand of the lion. And when he saw the Lord come through for him, when the bear came, he was more confident. When another lion came, he was more confident. When another bear came, he was more confident. He said, even when the lion and the bear came after me, he says, I caught it by the beard. You see the way he describes that? This is now confident speaking. Not that I fought the lion or I caught it by the beard. The beard, how do you catch a lion by the beard? Come on, David. How do you catch a bear by the beard? But you see, he's describing now with great confidence. I caught it by the beard and I struck it and I killed it. Training does not only build inner capacity, it also builds outer capacity. By that I mean it builds skill, it builds strength, it builds strategy. When you've gone through some things over and over and over again, you are developing skill, you are developing capacity, you are developing strength. So, God puts us through our training programs. God puts us through this situation. Now, Eliab is David's oldest brother. And if you attended the last devotion, you see how we described how Eliab looked down on him and called him deceitful and prideful. But Eliab had never fought a lion. Eliab had never fought a bear. Eliab escaped every training program God designed for him. Eliab enjoyed the father's table, sitting down and watching television and checking the internet and, just enjoying in the air-conditioned office. Eliab did not know what it meant to be out in the rain with the sheep, to be out in the field, in the sun, to confront the lions and the bears. Eliab did not go through that training program. And so when the Goliath turned up, Eliab had nothing to draw on. He had nothing as an internal or external capacity. Yes, he was dressed in the armor of warfare, but he didn't have what it takes. Friends, let the Lord train us. The Lord knows the Goliaths that are going to come up tomorrow. Goliaths that will rise up to confront you as a person. Goliaths that will rise up to confront your family. Goliaths that will rise up to confront your vision, your ministry. Goliaths that will rise up to confront your loved ones, your church. Goliaths that will rise up to confront your family. But you need to go through your school of training now. Yes, it is tough. Yes, you look abandoned. You look like nobody cares. It looks like you've been left out there in the field. But it's a training. You are being equipped. Saul in verse 33 said, I'm reading the New Living Translation now. He says, don't be ridiculous. When Saul heard what, David was saying, New Living Translation says, don't be ridiculous. People may look at you and say, you are being ridiculous. People may think, what do you have to offer? This is ridiculous. Saul said, there's no way you can fight this Philistine and possibly win. Look at the summary of this. It says, there's no way. There's no way you can possibly win. You are only a boy. And he's been a man of war since his youth. You're only a boy. You're only a girl. People look at you, they may dismiss you. They may say, you cannot do this. It's ridiculous. How can you have the solution to this problem? You are not even old enough to be considered. But let me tell you something, dear friends. God does not work with age. God works with those he has schooled. God does not work with age. I repeat, God works with those he has schooled. And that's why God is passing you through a school right now. Yes, you may be weeping some tears in your school, but it's because of a Goliath that's going to show up. You are going through this now. Don't compare. Everyone's training is different from everyone else. Don't compare your training with someone else. Don't say, but why is this person's life so easy? Why is that person's marriage so easy? Why is that person's finances so easy? Why this? Why? Don't compare. Don't compare. I am where I am today because God has taken me through so many schools. I thank God that when I joined the ministry, God put me in one of the most difficult places to serve in northeastern Nigeria. Deep in the mountains. And I suffered. I suffered hunger. I suffered pain. I suffered rejection. I suffered beating. I suffered imprisonment. I suffered sickness. All these things was part of a training. Part of building inner capacity and building outer capacity. And what I went through, I cannot transfer to anybody else. You see, these are not transferable. David could not transfer his experience to his elder brother or to the king Saul. He couldn't. Even though he was younger than them, he couldn't. That was his experience, his school. And so don't run away from your school. To escape from your training program is to spite yourself. Like I wrote in the devotion, those who do this never end up growing in capacity in life. They become stunted and unable to go beyond a limited scope. Don't shortchange yourself, my beloved. Weep those tears, but keep smiting your bears. Weep those tears, but keep fighting your lions. Weep those tears, but remain in the sun, remain in the rain, remain on the field, remain in that difficulty, remain in that pain. God is shaping you. In God's time, He will bring you out. But while He allows you to remain there, He is shaping you. Every tear you weep is part of the shaping. And that's why I said in the devotion, I said, in hindsight, you will see the connection. In hindsight, you'll understand why God put you through the things you went through. In fact, you will thank Him for the lions and the bears that attacked you and your beloved. Your marriage challenge may make you become a most profound marriage counselor in the future. Your health challenge may make you a most compassionate healer for those who struggle with health. Your situation financially may make you a most compassionate and benevolent helper to others who struggle. Go through your school. Go through your school. You will not die on the field. The lion won't kill you. Don't worry. The bear won't kill you. Don't worry. It's a process. It's a process. It's part of making you and I become the ones who can face Goliath. There are so many Goliaths out there, but we don't have many people who have gone through God's school. In the final paragraph of the devotion, I said, God is taking you somewhere, but He must train you. And training never ends, all right? So don't think, oh, what happened to me in northern Nigeria in 1993? that was just the training. No, 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 no. Through my journey, I've gone through cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles. And even right now, I'm going through another cycle of training. It's a continual training. God would continue to build capacity and grow the inner skills and outer skills we need. As long as God has a greater task ahead of you, training must continue. Those are part of my final words in the devotion. Training must continue. So many people are giving up in their days of training. So many people say, oh, the devil has won. Oh, the devil has won. Oh, the devil has won. The devil has won nothing. Even when the devil put Jesus on the cross and he thought he had won, he won nothing. Because God turned the cross to be the best thing to ever happen to mankind. Even when it looks like Satan has won, he has won nothing. Because God will turn that situation to be a training school for a greater capacity and greater ministry. I have always challenged those of you listening to me, fellow pilgrims. Share this word with your community. Forward this message to your friends. There are so many Christians who are going through their training school, but they don't understand it's their training school. Please share this with them. We need to encourage people to see that God makes pilgrims by the schools he puts them through. And those who escape the school, they never become worthy pilgrims. They never are able to stand for anything reasonable. They are just flighty-headed. They are just superficial. They are light cakes. Light cakes. They cannot stand before Goliath. But that will not be your portion in the name of Jesus. At this point, can I ask you to join me in praying? I want you to make that one and singular prayer. Lord, I will not escape from the training schools. Whatever you have prepared for me, I will go through by your grace. I will be the boy that will smite Goliath. I will be equipped in my inner paradigm, in my outer skill. I will be equipped. Lord, here I am. Turn every situation into a training school. Make me the person you can count on because I went through the training school.